Do you believe in miracles? A miracle can be defined as an extraordinary event not explicable by scientific or natural laws, something that no one thought was possible. But we're all taught to never say never, to always believe in a positive outcome. Well, THV11's Erica Ferrando and photojournalist Bree Conyers traveled to Baltimore, Maryland to bring us the story of a walking miracle from Pottsville, Arkansas.
Miracles happen every day.
1,000 miles from home in Baltimore, Maryland.
You just stay down and go side to side.
Something as simple as a ball toss for this high school athlete
Gotta keep going.
now means more than ever.
I thought my life was over.
June 15th, 2018, 17-year-old Drake Maness dove into a swimming pool at his girlfriend's like he had countless times before.
He wasn't moving his legs, his arms, and so I was like, okay, something's really wrong. So I dove in and I grabbed him and I had him like a baby, and he instantly spit out water and looked at me and was like, "Sydney, I'm paralyzed, please don't let me die."
When I hit the bottom, I just immediately knew I was paralyzed.
And that was really the first thing I told him in the ambulance. Start praying, Drake, right now, and you're gonna be all right.
Airlifted to Arkansas Children's, Drake suffered a broken neck and spinal cord injury. It was a freak accident. Doctors delivering the news to his parents he'd never walk again.
We've got to get him into surgery right now, and Drake's probably never going to move the neck down. And I pretty much lost it at that point. I just hit my knees.
It was hard. It was really hard. And you're just scared.
But this family decided to fight. A month later, taking their battle to an institute known for spinal cord injury.
You didn't give up.
No.
Drake and his family arrived to their destination at the Kennedy Krieger Institute here in Baltimore, but their journey to recovery was just beginning.
Go deeper, come on, go push.
When he got here,
He couldn't stand on his own.
We were basically holding him, pushing him into a chair.
he began 6 hours of therapy every day, still with an uncertain future.
It was catastrophic and thought to be permanent paralysis.
Dr. Suzanne Rupczynski, head of inpatient rehabilitation, remained optimistic, but not even she could have expected this.
Yeah, come here.
He far exceeded our expectations.
Nearly 2 months after the accident,
I knew he would the whole time.
he was back on his feet, taking major steps.
He was like, "Are we really gonna do this?" And we had 2 people with us, and he needed a lots of support, but he did it.
The best thing about his recovery has really been the 2 to 3 day story. Today he's walking with a harness on and 2 or 3 people holding him. Tomorrow, no harness and a walker.
Their steps his medical team couldn't have predicted.
No, to be honest with you, I didn't, because with that type of injury that Drake had, usually people don't progress this quickly.
But steps this family had been praying for.
Just faith. We just prayed every day and kept our faith.
It's all God.
Yep, without a doubt, it's God.
Just seeing a little toe wiggle would brighten everyone's day, and then now he gets up and dances.
Since walking wasn't enough,
You gotta get faster.
4 months after the accident, he's showing progress even through the Kiki Challenge.
Drake just has that natural charisma to him, and he's always had that. I would say maybe it's stronger now.
Watching the recovery before our eyes,
It just amazes everybody.
He has a very strong will, and he's a very healthy, fit, strong guy, and I think that helped him greatly.
steps that can't be justified
I can't explain it.
are explained by this family as intervention from above.
Not just prayers to fix things spiritually, but God gave the doctors the brain that they have to work on Drake, and the nurses that he's had to treat him, and us the ability to make decisions to get him to the best place for the care that he needed.
Actually, he's a walking miracle. For him to be where he's at now, it's amazing.
Because sometimes even a simple ball toss
Nice.
and a step
There you go.
are miracles before our eyes.
Never give up and just keep your faith.
All right, we got to join him.
Oh yeah, everyone in. Come on, come on.
I can do it. It took me a while to learn this, though.
You gotta get fresh.
4 months after a swimming accident,
So happy that Drake is going home.
no one could have predicted Drake Maness' last day of therapy at Kennedy Krieger Institute here in Baltimore would look like this.
A few months later, hardly ever do you see him walk out.
This summer, he dove into a pool about 5 feet deep. Paralyzed from the neck down, doctors said he'd never walk again. For Drake, that was even more reason to fight for a miracle.
Nice.
He just keeps fighting, keeps progressing.
Never has complained.
No, hasn't complained one time.
Dr. Suzanne Rybczynski at Kennedy Krieger.
You really can't tell what is going on in the spine until you start moving and trying to start recovery.
Was optimistic when he got here.
But we were also planning for the worst case scenario that he might be in a wheelchair.
His medical team crediting how his injury was immediately handled.
They held that neck stable.
His girlfriend, her family, and paramedics stabilized him in the water.
They held him there, and that has a huge impact on his recovery as well, that it didn't tear or sever his spinal cord. Most of that happens from being moved after you have a neck injury.
Preparing to head home, Dr. Rybczynski expects him to lead a normal life.
This is pretty extraordinary. The degree of recovery from total paralysis from the neck down, and being on a ventilator and not being able to breathe on his own to being up and active without that support is amazing.
Kennedy Krieger Institute here in Baltimore has been Drake's home for the past 3 months. Now, after so much progress, he's ready to continue recovery back home in Arkansas.
His tracheostomy and airway will require more surgery back home.
I'm ready for it, but it's also scary. It's just weird going to be home with the trach and then going back to school. It's been so long.
A school that's shown overwhelming support, holding multiple fundraisers even with rival football teams, plus a support Facebook page with 4,500 likes.
He had so much great support from his family and community that it's not surprising he did so well.
Drake wants others to know the power of community and prayer.
Getting closer to God and bringing the community together just like we have.
But even to other patients and family members within the gym, to see someone doing so well, it gives everyone that hope that we want.
Now as he walks out of the Ronald McDonald House that's been his family's home for 3 months and gets ready to go back to school in Pottsville,
We're going to try to.
he rings the good news bell.
Everyone to help us welcome one more senior.
It's senior night at Pottsville High School.
Can you believe this?
And football player Drake Maness is making quite an entrance.
It's really something, isn't it?
For Drake, his parents, and the Pottsville community, this moment is nothing short of a miracle.
It was a long journey to get here.
Drake first rode in this helicopter on June 15th, the day he injured his spinal cord while diving into a pool. Paramedics Richard Haley and Kevin Wolf were first on the scene.
He'd suffered a pretty catastrophic accident.
They got Drake to Russellville Regional Airport and survival flight number 7.
Both of us were fairly dead set that he wasn't ever going to walk again, just by the nature of how he presented to us.
A feeling shared by doctors, odds Drake defied.
Every link in the chain of survival landed perfectly.
On Friday afternoon, the Maness family was reunited with the first responders who came to Drake's aid in those fateful moments.
It kind of brings back that feeling, but it's good to see him now of the condition I was in then to where I'm at now.
It's amazing that we're here and Drake's standing, walking around, talking to everybody.
Though it may not be the senior night Drake Maness and his parents expected.
As parents, we've looked forward to that night for many years.
When he steps off the helicopter that transported him to Arkansas Children's 4 months ago.
We made it.
They can't help but feel immensely blessed.
To our community, we'd just say how fortunate we've been that everybody has blessed us like they have. For that, we're forever grateful.
For someone told he'd never walk again, every step, especially these, are special.
Best of luck in all of your future endeavors.
It's a long-awaited moment for this sea of caps and gowns, a milestone that for one graduate in particular,
We didn't know if I would even make it here.
Comes amid a major setback.
It's been rough. It's, certainly unforgettable. But there's been a lot of blessings in the last 10 months as well.
Drake Maness suffered a severe spinal cord injury while diving into a swimming pool last summer. Doctors initially said he'd likely never regain movement below his neck, a diagnosis Drake has proven wrong.
And sometimes we look around and we say, God, just show me a miracle.
Time and time again.
So I'm going to show you a miracle. Drake Maness.
The start of his senior year was spent in a Baltimore hospital, completing schoolwork on top of intense daily rehab, work that continued upon returning home.
Just doing it all to accomplish this.
An accomplishment made possible by faith, family, and the support of his Drake Strong community. It's love on full display as he takes the stage with the final message for his classmates.
I will never forget the impact that so many of you have had on my life. Rallying together, lifting me up has made it possible for me to be standing here today.
As Drake crosses the stage,
Drake Wayne Maness.
precious steps once deemed impossible mark the beginning of a new challenge.
Starting at Arkansas Tech in the fall and studying rehab sciences to become a physical therapist.
An opportunity to help others overcome the odds, much like he has.
As each of you look to your future, remember to live life to the fullest and finish every day Drake Strong.
This week, high school sweethearts Drake Maness and Sydney Fleepa went on vacation to Arizona.
Well, we've been playing golf and visited the Grand Canyon.
But just a few years ago, doctors said that would have never been possible.
That feels like a miracle. Every day I get myself out of bed and do things that most people with the same injury can't do.
Did you ever have people in high school even be like, well, it's just a high school girlfriend, you know, she's not going to stick around through this?
Yes, I had so many people telling me, like, y'all won't last, especially after the accident. They were like, if he can't move, you won't want to be with him. And I'm like, well, Drake in a wheelchair and Drake without a wheelchair, it's still Drake sitting there.
Ever since the beginning, she stuck right by me, and she's still right there.
Do you ever take a minute to sit back and think about how much has changed over the last few years?
I do sometimes, but I'm on the go a lot. I like to play golf and hang out with my friends.
Back to taking big swings with the person who's been through it all.
We've had people come up to us and be like, y'all are so, like, y'all just look so familiar. And I'd be like, well, this is our story.
And after so many doctors said no, Drake got the most important yes. And a love story they once dreamed of, now one step closer to coming true.
They're engaged.
The night of Drake's accident, well, my dad woke up the next morning. He said, I had a dream that I was walking you down the aisle and Drake was standing at the end of it. That kind of like told me, like, he's my person. I'm meant to be with him.